The Royals swept the Chicago White Sox over the weekend. 2 games above 500 now, with the biggest series of the year coming up. 4-gamer against the Texas Rangers at Kauffman Stadium coming up this week. We'll recap the weekend, preview the week to come live here on One Royal Way. We're back at it here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Joel Penfield. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We are live on YouTube, as always, on a Sunday night. If you're on the audio side, I appreciate you listening over there. Make sure to like, rate, subscribe, review over there. Hit notification bells on all platforms, when these shows go up. I appreciate the support we've gotten this season. It's been a ton of fun. And obviously, this team is playing better baseball as of late, which makes this way more fun as we get into August and September. Sweep the Chicago White Sox, win 3-1, 6. I think it was 6-2 on Saturday, and then 6-2 again on Sunday as well. And I thought they played really good baseball overall. The Sunday game was a little weird, no hit into the 6th inning, and then they turn it on late. It felt like last year's Royals that were just never at it. The pitching was going to keep them in it. And the bats get better, they get better, move it to the bullpen, and then just pounce. And that's really what we saw on Sunday. But, overall, a heck of a series. And I know the White Sox are not very good. I gathered that. But you got to beat these teams that are in front, the teams that are in front of you on your schedule, and take advantage when you play bad teams. And that's what they were able to do. They finished 6-3 in this stretch of Nats, Twins, and White Sox, which is like what I thought, just baseline what they needed to do at a minimum to keep themselves in it, and they were able to accomplish that. Left obviously a couple of games on the table against the Sunday game against the Twins, and then the chance to sweep the Nationals on Wednesday. But hard to complain. 2 games over 500 and still no ground made up at this point. Still 4 games out. But this comes the big test now against the Rangers. This is where we're really going to find out. And I know I've said it a couple other times, in this stretch, the last month or so, like this is when we'll find out. This is when we'll find out. This is really going to be it, right? Like if they go in and they split or take 3 or 4 from the Rangers, then we're talking about a team that's going to continue to be in this. If it's the opposite and you lose 3 or 4, well, we might be talking about time of death on this team, and we'll see. And this is really the hinge point of the rest of the season. It's getting late. It'll be the end, towards the end of August by the time the series is over. So a lot can change between now and Thursday. Hopefully they can ride this momentum a little bit. This show, as always, brought to you by Emprise Bank, member FDIC, our partners in Possible here at Kansas City Sports Network. And on this show, we can't thank them enough for their support over the last couple of seasons. And I do want to shout out Kansas City Strength and Conditioning as well. OG, supporter of this show back in 2022. If you have a baseball or softball player in the area that needs a place to train, go check them out. Some former Royals pitchers, Scott Barlow and Austin Cox, have gone there in the past. It's a great place with connections all over the city. So be sure to go check them out as well if you have a player that's want to get ready, for fall ball or get ready for the 26th season. That's the place to do it. We'll go ahead and get into the game recaps here. Friday night, Royals win 3-1. And ho-hum, it's on the back of another great start by Noah Cameron. Gets into the 6th inning. Scatters 6 hits. Not a lot of strikeouts to speak of, but just like what we see with Noah Cameron for the most part throughout his career. It was inducing a lot of weak contact, a lot of early contact, and if he gets into trouble, he's able to get out of it. Just kind of the same old for him. And there has been a part of me, not that I'm trying to, manifest or wish it into existence, that is kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop on him. Like, okay, at what point does the low 90s fastball with all these different pitches, at what point does it kind of get rocked? At what point does the league kind of start to figure him out? And it just hasn't come. And at this point, we're nearing 100 innings, in his big league career. I'm done trying to believe that. He's at 98 and a third now with an ERA right around 1. And he's an unbelievable pitcher. And for what he's meant for this team, he's going to be a part of this for a long time. And I don't know where this team would be if Noah Cameron was even average for a rookie. But he's been above average to one of the better pitchers in the American League this season, at least from a run prevention perspective. I know it's not super flashy. It's 89 to 92, and he doesn't strike a lot of dudes out, but he knows how to pitch. And they've maximized what he can be. I think there's still levels for him to reach to get better, but this has been a hell of a start to a career. He's not going to win Rookie of the Year. He should finish runner-up to Nick Kurtz over with the A's and put himself in a position, put himself on the map as one of the better left-handed pitchers in the American League. I think that is, it's not flashy Tarek Skubal levels, but I do think there's a chance this guy is just going to be a solid mid-rotation starter for a very long time in the big leagues. You can have a 10 to 12-year big league career with that profile. Like, it's a very safe profile in that regard. There's may not be a lot of ceiling to reach. It may not be more than like a number 3 starter. But again, you can get paid a lot of money to go and do that for a long time. So that was a lot of it. The pitching was great on Friday night. And it was really good for most of this weekend. John Schreiber, Angel Serpa, Lucas Erceg combined. Schreiber gets out of a little bit of a jam in the 6th inning. I think it was bases loaded when he came in, and he gets a line drive hit right at Bobby Wood Jr. double play, gets out of the inning. Not necessarily the sexiest way to get out of an inning, but no damage across. Zerpa strikes out 2. Erceg has a clean 8th, and then Carlos Estevez with one of his better outings in quite a long time. We've seen the not necessarily diminished velocity, but just we don't see like the upper nines that he kind of became accustomed to with him for most of his career. Times where there's just maybe not be as much confidence with the fastball in the zone to be able to generate swing and miss. So he's relying more on the slider, trying to be a little more fine with the fastball. That's where he's got knocked around. That's why, you have the loss on Wednesday against the Nats where he didn't have it. He didn't have the fastball. Complete opposite on Friday. He was throwing 97, 98 in the zone with some confidence and conviction and getting swing and misses and strikes out the side. We haven't seen just the comfiest. Carlos Estevez is a good closer. But good closers are generally sketchy sometimes. Like the Greg Hollands of the world, right? That were very good and good closers. There are times where it's like, oh boy, I don't know. But they find a way to get out of it. He's got 31 saves and 37 opportunities. That's a very good percentage. That is a solid return. And I think 4 of those are in extra innings, right? So it's all relative in how you view it. So, and I think one of those, it was counted as a save when it was like the 8th inning. So I don't know. Regardless, you win that game. Not a lot of offense to speak of. The Royals get one early with Michael hitting Bobby in. Salvi hits home run number 295 down the right field line. It's like a little slice 2-iron, out to right field. Then Adam Frazier doing Adam Frazier things. Hits a ball down the line, double. Gets a little insurance late in the 6th, and that's it. That's all. Not much else to speak of in this game, but just a good, clean win for a team that really they needed it. They needed to get back on the horse after the unfortunate loss on Wednesday, and they found a way to do that. And they got themselves to 500 at that point. And then you come back on Saturday, and this was another game. You get Michael Lorenzen back, first game back off of the injured list, and over a month after the oblique injury. Hopefully Salvi can get 300 to call up, and that'll be awesome. I mean, he's got a month and a half to hit 5 homers. I wouldn't be shocked if he found a way to do that. He's still hitting the ball well lately. The Winder Avila was the corresponding move for Lorenzen to come back up. Now, I don't know what the plan is for Luinder Avila. If they want to continue to have him progress as a reliever, where he kind of showed in that 1-inning spurt, there's good stuff there. Or if they want to stretch him back out to a starter, and this was just an opportunity to get him some innings, some work, a couple big league paychecks, and figure it out. But I imagine we'll see him again here at some point. The game on Saturday, sorry, my just locked up there for a second. It was off to an interesting start. You get out of that first inning, not the cleanest inning in the world from Lorenzen. He didn't have his best stuff And we'll get some audio here in a minute. But Yastrzemski leads off the game with a home run, and it's 1-0 just like that. And then Vinny comes up, and he's like, he takes a swing, and he's kind of swaying, and it looks odd. I'm up in the press box, and we're all like, is that an oblique? Is that his back? Like, what's going on? Something's not right. He finishes the at-bat, and then he's done. And then the speculation starts to come out about what happened, and all that. It was kind of worrisome. They called it a heat-related illness. He sounded like he just had a little mild case of heat stroke, which relative to some other soft tissue injuries and other things, like that's best case. You hate to see it for the guy because I've had that before. It's awful. And he talked about it a little bit after the game with what happened and how he was able to what happened to him there. If you're able to go to that, Nick.
My first at bat, or my only at bat. I was kind of moving around weird because I was trying to figure out what was going on. I wasn't very comfortable. Some things were happening, and basically couldn't slow my heart rate down. I think Q kind of hinted at it, but I think 5 seconds after I struck out, I puked all over the bathroom there, which was cool. But they kept saying on the broadcast that they thought it was my oblique or back or something. It was not. So we made sure Sam knew that. So yeah, it's okay. I'm fine now. It's a tough one. I prepared myself well for the game today. Just it hit me. When it hit me, it hit me. And I don't really know how to explain this. Never happened to me before, but I have a tough time seeing. It's just a weird situation, but we got John Rave, so
good chance to brag on your teammate here. Home run, bunt single, scores from first. Talk about it. His preparation and just brag on your teammate for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes. Yeah, I don't think he's played in a few days, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't playing tonight. I think maybe that helped him a little bit. Didn't go into having the whole day thinking about the game. Was just kind of ready to. He'd probably be ready in the 7th, 8th, or 9th, and all of a sudden he's thrown into the game, and he was probably relaxed for it, which helped him. So I thought obviously the first at bat was phenomenal. Then laying down the bunt, I mean, scoring from first on the double, that's huge. So him being ready like that to me, that shows the character of him, this team, everything. Just being ready to go like that is huge for us.
Would you have scored from first on that one?
Yeah, would have. Yeah, well, we can agree to disagree. It's healthy to have disagreements within the clubhouse, but what matters is that Rave did score. So we can argue about if I would have scored or not. Probably not, but I think I would have. So.
I know you guys are day-to-day, but to be one game over 500 since June 10th, what does that mean to you?
It's good. It's good. It's better just how we're playing. It's just, playing good baseball right now.
There we go. We didn't need to get into the last part of that, but I just wanted to provide. Vinny provides a little bit of context, and the other part of that, we'll get. I'm sure Vinny Richard. Hey, he has his moments. John Rave said Vinny can be sneaky fast. I watched him score from first in a gap shot before, but Vinny alluded to it. John Rave comes in and plays in his spot. Nick Lofton, sneaky part of this game, went from left to first. Really hasn't played first much in his big league career at all. I thought he looked very good over there, so that was worth noting and shouting out. But John Rave comes in, and I know that if you saw the pregame quote from Matt Quatrero about Jack Caglione, we'll get to later in this show, probably felt you could probably hear an audible groan around Kansas City, like, oh, why is John Rave in the game? Well, then he comes up and pumps a homer to right center. And then comes up later in the game, bunt, kind of caught the third baseman napping a little bit and gets it on first and second with one out with Yaz. And Mike Hill comes up I think that was in the 5th inning, and drives the ball over Benintendi's head in left center. And John Rave's flying around third and ends up scoring, getting 2 runs. And at that point, it's 5-0 and kind of put the game away right there. That really broke it open. And with the way the bullpen had started to pitch, Lorenzen was not great, but he kind of found a way. They had worked some great plate appearances against Sean Burke and Tyler Alexander. just made him work. And even if it didn't lead to a ton of walks, it was a lot of pitches. Mike Yastrzemski had an 11-pitch line out. I think India worked a 7 or 8 pitch at bat. John Rave worked a pretty good one. So they were able to drive pitch counts up and had a great night at the plate. Relatively speaking. Now, the funny part about it is that they actually still went 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They were on all night. They had, and I'll have to look at my score sheet really quick. Fun little scorecard that you got from the game. I think they only had one inning where they went 1, 2, 3, and it was in the 7th and 8th inning. So for the most part in this game, they had traffic all night. It was kind of similar to that game on Wednesday against the Nats, where they just had traffic all night and couldn't quite cash in. They were able to get runs, but could have been a lot better. So they still left a lot of meat on the bone, but still played pretty well. Nick, I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but can you go to the sound that's pretty quick about Michael Lorenzen, talking about his start a little bit?
Happy with the win, happy to be back. Not too stoked about just going 4 innings, and we don't have, we have 4 straight after this, so that's 7 straight. And you want to, give the pen some rest, so not happy about that side of things, but the win is really what matters.
Being back too, like you mentioned, stuff to spend a month on the IL.
Yeah.
What was that like for you? And just when you get back to the team?
Yeah, it was tough. I was doing everything I possibly could to get back as soon as I could, and the medical staff here helped me with that quite a bit. They worked with me a lot, knowing that I'm fighting to get back and doing everything I can. So they worked with me really well, and I think we're all excited with the recovery and the setbacks and being able to come back full go.
Yeah, so I think the heat was obviously a factor in just fatigue. First game back in the big leagues, after a month. He had the fastball sinker working. He had a real tough time with his secondaries. His sweeper and slider were all over the place. Changeup got some swing and miss, but something to work on. I think we're going to see him still continue to get some starts. Maybe this is where you can push Seth Lugo back a little bit, give him just a chance to rest and recoup and kind of get back into it. So we'll see, but I thought there were some good things, even if it was just 4 innings. We'll see what happens after this. I don't think he's hurt. And so this may be just a chance where now you have 6 starters again. Maybe this is just where, I guess they move Falter to the bullpen, so it is a true 5. We'll see what happens when Lugo goes back out there this week against Texas. Maybe he's righted the ship. I don't know. And the Rangers' offense is super inconsistent, so it could be a good opportunity to kind of get back into it a little bit. I'm running late here on a break, so I want to make sure that we hit that really quick, and we'll be right back after this.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Folks, nothing beats hanging out with the boys on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. And the simplest way that you all can get in on the action is to download the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It is crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And the best part is, Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. Don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6, and right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and then use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com.
Sure, hit that like and subscribe button, everybody. I appreciate those that are hanging out in the chat right now from the audio side. I appreciate you listening over there. If you've never come over and hung out for a live episode on YouTube, you should come over and do that. Sundays and Thursdays are usually when we do those. Sunday game, it was a weird one. At least it started out that way. Royals end up winning 6-2, so the final score shows a little bit of a dominant win. But if you watch the game, not indicative of that at all. The Royals didn't have a hit until the 6th inning. Davis Martin shoved. He pitched well. Like, this was not a case, I don't think, where the Royals. Like, they had some good plate appearances against them. They worked 3 walks. They drove the ball a couple of times on them, just right to gloves. Couldn't cash in a couple of spots. But I thought they were doing the right things. It's like, okay, it's just a matter of time. Just keep stacking good plate appearances. And then eventually after the 6th, they get a hit. Yaz kind of throws like a little lawn dart, little hit down the left field line. And that gets him going a little bit. And it was the only hit in the inning, but kind of opened the floodgates a little bit. Like, all right, let's go here. And they had an opportunity, just weren't able to cash in after that. 7th inning comes around, and they take out Davis Martin, who he was up in the upper 80s pitch count, 3rd time through. This is a situation that I think Royals fans would hate their starting pitcher being taken out of a game. But this is also kind of the other side of the coin on that. And this all comes with 2 outs, which is kind of the remarkable part of this. Michael lines out, hits a hard line out, Salvi grounds out, and then Adam Frazier, sure enough, just kind of fillets a ball down the left field line for a double, brings up Jonathan India with runner in scoring position, bottom of the order, and he detonates on a ball. 451 feet into the top of the fountains in left center. And just like that, it's 2-2. When it felt not insurmountable, but certainly like it was getting late early. And he demolished it. And he's gotten on a couple balls this year, but he hasn't hit a lot of, that one was not a cheapie. He's hit a couple that are, wall scrapers, or just, it's just not, power is not necessarily a huge part of his game. But this day, hot, humid day at Kauffman Stadium, balls flying, and he got into one, and it was awesome to see. He was fired up and ready to go. He had we talked a little bit about it after the game, and if you're listening to the audio, Vinny is chirping him as the media scrum comes together. It's kind of just for context.
I think it's just, I'm so for the team now. Just like, I want to win. I don't think it's the lineup change or anything. I think it's just, wanting to win ball games at any cost.
So that was him talking about going down to the bottom of the order as well. There was at the very beginning, and I don't know if I maybe missed the clip, but we're all getting around him, and Vinny just goes, "Hey, tell him about the homer." Just kind of doing our job for us. Okay, Nick found it. We'll go ahead and play it now. I apologize.
Did Bobby call your homer?
He did. Yeah, he didn't call. Well, he said he called it in the dugout, but we were talking before that at bat.
Who cares? You hit it.
Talking before that at bat. Hey, just got those last sliders. Maybe sit slider. So I did. And got a good one.
So he was sitting slider. The guy just didn't have his fastball at that point, and threw him a slider, hung it, and India didn't miss it. And that first quote was Jalen Thompson, the Kansas City Star, asked him if he's feeling more comfortable hitting at the bottom of the order, but if that's maybe opened things up for him a little bit. And I do think there is kind of an element of that for him. But, he said it like, I just want to win. I don't care what it takes. If that's where they need me to hit, then I'm going to just go down there and do it. And it has opened up the offense a lot. Moving Yaz to the leadoff spot against righties, Michael against lefties, and having India give opportunities to run in scoring position. He has taken that and run with it. He's got 3 homers in his last 8 games. Since moving down to the bottom of the, toward the bottom of the order. And it's kind of changed the complexion of it. Adam Frazier, another example of a guy that is just, it's working for him now. He comes up with a big hit in the 8th. For that, Bobby hits a single against Grant Taylor, who's throwing like 98, 99 mile an hour cutters. He hits a single, steals second, and then Michael Garcia comes up with 2 outs. And this guy just, again, chucking damn near hundos, and just off the end of the bat, serves the ball to right field. Bobby scores, and that kind of opened things up a little bit. Salvi comes up, and I think it was on the very first pitch. I want to make sure. A second pitch. So it was a curveball, and then 98 down the middle. He hits about 415 feet. I thought it was gone. I think he thought it was gone. I think the whole crowd thought it was gone. It bangs off the top of the wall. So it ended up being a single. But with 2 outs, Michael's running from first. He scores. It's 4-2. And then Adam Frazier comes up next. And not something we see him do a ton of, pulling the ball in the air, but fastball down the middle from Leisure. And he hits it into the bullpen. And off the bat, I wasn't sure if he got it because he hit it pretty high. But it just, again, hot, humid day. It kept flying. It's in the bullpen. And this is what I guess a healthy Adam Frazier looks like. They talked about it. He talked about it a little bit, that I guess he dealt with a thumb injury most of last season. It's not necessarily like a full excuse because he was still not great even when he may have been healthy. But there's just, I guess, there's elements of, he is a clubhouse leader. I know that's something I didn't realize. He's kind of a quiet, reserved dude. I guess he was the guy that did, organize like team dinners and some of the, the camaraderie, off the field and away from the clubhouse. And so that they missed some of that. And that's part of why when I guess Pittsburgh and Kansas City were playing, that there was a deal starting to be in the work for Adam Frazier a few weeks back. And maybe a month before he actually got traded for. And you can see what he means to this team. And he's a different player than what we saw last year. And this move was kind of mocked and ridiculed. And like, what are the Royals doing? This is unserious. This is ridiculous. And that doesn't even talk about the kind of the hilarity of the people losing their minds over Cam Devaney. I said this wasn't a needle mover. And I didn't think this was going to be anything because I had the preconceived notion of 2024 Adam Frazier. He's a different player this year. He has had a massive impact on this team, not just in the clubhouse, but on the field. I'm going to keep tweeting out the stat because I think it's hilarious. He has he's already almost 50% of the way to his hit production from last season alone. He had 22 RBIs last season in 105 games for Kansas City. He has 13 already now. I think he had 4 home runs last year. He has 2 now. He had 53 hits. He's got 25. Like, this is, it's incredibly impressive and just a testament to how hard he works and what he means to this team. And it has raised the floor significantly of what this team needs and what he's able to provide with Yastrzemski and Grichuk and Frazier and India getting rolling a little bit. And then whatever you're able to get from Isbell, Rave, Lofton, Tolbert at the bottom, because we know what Witt, Vinny, Michael, and Salvi are going to do. And then it's just, can one of those guys chip in over the course of 9 innings and go win a game? And that's what they were able to do. On the pitching side, before we move on a little bit, I thought Ryan Berger threw the ball well today. He said it wasn't the best, but had a good feel for his slider. He was able to get 7 strikeouts. I think 6 of them were on sliders. And he talked a little bit about that post-game, Nick, if you wouldn't mind pulling his that quick audio clip for me.
Yeah, I think it was good. Gave the team a chance to win, those first few innings. A little brutal, hot, But I think overall, went to the sixth, only those 2 runs. So he was solid, but definitely could have been better. Command was okay, but stuff wasn't the best. But I think it could have been better for sure.
Yeah, and there's still a lot to work on, but there's a lot of stuff to like. And this is one where there's a massive credit to JJ and company for being able to go and find this guy. I think there really is something there. It's not as like early dominant as Cole Reagan's was, but I think there's similar qualities. It's a young pitcher that had some starts under his belt, but was working out of the bullpen as well, like kind of trying to make his way in Major League Baseball. And you make a rental, just like a kind of innocuous trade, like a rental reliever or a backup catcher, and you're able to go and get a guy that's going to slot in your rotation for the next 4 to 5 years. And right now, I think your rotation, there's like 7 guys that you could go to. 6 if you include Bubic, but that may be a conversation to have in the offseason. But I think you're going to slot in Ryan Berger next season. And there's still levels for him to get to. And I thought he did a very good job today. Scattered some traffic. He gave the early home run to Lenine Sosa, but then turned right back around and strikes out Colson Montgomery and I think it was Miguel Vargas right after that. Like there's a level of kind of unflappability to him that is similar to what Noah Cameron brings, where it's just, okay, next batter. And he doesn't let things kind of pile up on him, doesn't let innings really get away from him. And I think that is I think that is an incredibly impressive trait for a young pitcher, especially a rookie on a new team, third start for them, to show that sort of quality. And that's the sort of stuff you can't quite quantify. But I do think that is an identifiable trait that this front office and this staff look for, and not getting rattled and not getting frustrated and not letting things pile up. And Ryan Berger, Noah Cameron, and then obviously having the veterans like Walker and Lugo in the room, I'm sure help with that. And hey, man, next batter, go and get the next guy. I do think there's a lot of that. One thing I did think was interesting from talking to Matt Cotrero pregame, postgame, the quote that really stuck out, got a lot of traction on social from the video clip, was asking about Jack Caglianone's rehab assignment. Now, he is 10 for 19 on this rehab assignment, I believe, at least at the time I'm recording, with a couple home runs, hit a home run and a double today. He's mashing the ball, kind of just showing, there's only so much for him to learn in AAA, and some of it is just AAA pitching isn't very good. But there's more at play than just getting him back, and we're going to go to a video if you haven't seen it. This is what Max Scherzer had to say about when Jack could come back to Kansas City, when we could expect it.
He's going to continue to play there. The team dynamic here has changed since he got hurt. He's going to have to keep playing, and when something opens up, he's certainly in consideration to come back.
How's that hamstring responding to?
Great, yeah, he's been running the bases well. I think he's scheduled to play first base tonight, so we're just getting him exposed to all game situations.
So there was the first part of that I thought was interesting, and that's kind of where people took it, and that's where people took it to as an opportunity to just, for lack of a better term, just shit on John Rave. That, well, we're giving him at bats, so clearly the team dynamic hasn't changed that much. Like, okay, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about Mike Yastrzemski, Randall Grichuk, Adam Frazier, and those guys in the lineup. What do those dudes are? They're all big leaguers that have been there, done that for a very long time. Professional at bats, not swinging and missing a lot, not striking out a lot. And we know, and it's raised the floor of the offense significantly. Jack at this point is not a floor raiser offensively. He's a ceiling raiser. But we also know what the floor looks like. He wasn't great in his first little go round in professional baseball, in Major League Baseball. And it's okay. He's a rookie that they not rushed is the wrong way to put it, but he forced the hand of the organization to get him to the big leagues, because he showed he was too good for AA, like a month in, right? And then he shows in 2 weeks, there's not much left for me to learn here. It's now for him, to learn at the Major League level. I say professional, but I think you all know what I mean. And now he's on this rehab assignment. I kind of wondered how it would look for him, how quickly he would get back going. But he had 3 hits tonight, 2 doubles, and a home run. He's got 11 hits in 4 or 5 games in Omaha so far. There's just not much for him to gain by just mashing AAA pitching. And I know there was somebody, I forget who it was, because there's enough mentions that come through. I don't often look at who sent it. But it just said they want to see him get some more time in AAA to see some good pitching in AAA. Well, here's the thing. Good pitching and AAA are incongruous things. Those two things do not exist in this astral plane. There's a reason why tonight the Storm Chasers won a game 12-11 that they were losing, I think, at one point 7-1 because AAA pitching isn't good. AA is more of a challenge for a lot of these guys than AAA is. I watched Carter Jensen struggle more in AA than I've seen him struggle in AAA. It's just kind of the nature of AAA now. It's 40-man holdovers, your Rich Hill, Dallas Keuchel types that are hanging on, trying to get another chance in the big leagues. It's dudes that are just, organizational depth that are just there to fill a roster, like your Nick Prados of the world. Right now, your Drew Waters and MJ Melendez's that have proven they're not good enough to play in the big leagues right now, but have to fill a roster. So it becomes at a certain point, what's best for Jack? Is it just let him mash in AAA, build some confidence back up after experiencing so much failure in Kansas City his first month in the big leagues? Or is it, hey, we may have an automatic out some nights hitting 8th for us, but we know that if Jack runs into one a couple times a week, it completely changes our offense and raises a ceiling to what now the floor is so much safer with Frazier and Grichuk and Yastrzemski and what they provide along with Vinny, Michael, Salvi, and Bobby. And even Kyle Isbell right now, who's hitting damn near 350 in August. I think eventually he does need to come back up, and they may give it the full 2 more weeks. And Labor Day weekend, when the rosters expand, Jack comes back up and he's ready for the stretch run. I would understand that too. But my opinion is Jack needs to be in the big leagues because I think that's when he'll get what is going to be best for him long term, so that he can work out some of the habits that he has created that has also made him incredibly successful, but is not going to lead to big league success. Yeah, the gap is significant, and I think that's why John Rave came up and struggled immediately, and it wasn't the same. MJ goes and mashes big, my AAA pitching for a couple months. He comes back up and looks as bad or worse than he did the first month of the season. Well, they were hitting in AAA. Why can't they hit here? Because it's not good in AAA. It's not AA is a more prospect heavy league and more of a challenge for a lot of these guys. I may have just rambled there for a couple of minutes and given a bunch of non-answers and platitudes and whatever. But I did think it was interesting when they said, the team dynamic has changed, and that is 100% true. And maybe they don't want to mess with it right now because the offense has been so much better since those dudes were inserted back in mid-July and at the beginning of August. When you make these trades, you get these veteran guys that all have some similar qualities to be able to work some plate appearances, not swing and miss a lot, not strike out a lot, put the ball in play, and not just be kind of one-sided guys. Curtis says, so what are the roster expansion rules that came back a few years ago? So it used to be your 40-man roster was your September roster, right? That used to be the way it was. Everybody on the 40-man came up. And so it was a huge roster expansion. That's where you saw a lot more guys getting a cup of coffee at the end of the minor league season, for a month. You get some big league paychecks, you play some games. And then there's really the competition to be able to break camp in 26. I do think But that's not the case anymore. It's just 28. So it goes from 26 to 28. So you add 2 bench spots, but I don't think you can add I don't think you can have more pitchers. I think it's just position players. So that's where Jack's going to come up. That may be where a Drew Waters as a switch hitter comes up, something like that. Maybe we'll add 1 pitcher, so it's 14 and 14. But we'll see. It's not the expansion that it has been in the past. Elizabeth in the chat with actually a really great point that I had forgotten about a little bit just because of when they brought Jack up. They wanted to bring Cags up when the offense was thriving, but that didn't happen. Maybe now they're going, you can bring him back now. That is a great point because that was what they talked about before they brought him up. And I don't think, to be fair, I still don't think they actually called him up to change the offense. I think it was just he forced their hand because he was too good for AAA. And it made it sound a little and just looked odd to the optics of it because they had talked about, we want the offense to be good, and the offense was terrible, but they still called him up, which may have put some undue expectation on him either directly or indirectly. But now the offense is going a little bit. It's much better than it was. It's still not great. Like, we'll call a spade a spade. Like today, they were getting no hit through 6 innings against a fairly nondescript AL Central pitcher. But holistically, from like a macro perspective, it is much better. So maybe this is the perfect opportunity for it, for them to call Jack back up, lower those expectations even more. Like, dude, we don't need you to be the difference maker. Like, go hit 8th, get your ace swing off 3 times a game, hit the ball in the air, try and hit homers with guys on, and let's just build on this a little bit. Because I still think Jack is going to be a very good big leaguer. I think the tools are all there. It didn't come right away. And I think it soured some people on him. And now he's got to prove it, right? And he's going to get every opportunities in 2026. But right now, we'll see what they're able to do for him, where they want to put him. Is he going to DH, play first base? I think we're going to see a lot of that, moving forward. So we'll see. So Chris brings up kind of the $1 million question here. Can the Royals take 3 or 4 from the Texas Rangers? I think it's realistic. They swept them down in Texas, and that was an offense that was way worse than what we're seeing right now. And this team has built a little bit of confidence. This is also a step up in competition, right? Like this is playing the Rangers, even though they are not necessarily one of the best teams in the American League. They're a solid, well-constructed team. This is not like playing the Nats. This is not like playing the White Sox. This is the team in a similar spot. They're in kind of desperation, wounded animal mode, just like the Royals are. Like, they need this series badly, just like the Royals need it badly. Your pitching matchups are Michael Walker versus Jack Leiter Monday. Tuesday is going to be Seth Lugo against Merrill Kelly. So we'll see what Lugo has. If he's going to be able to bounce back from the last couple of really ugly starts. Wednesday is going to be tough. That's Jacob deGrom against Noah Cameron. And we know how good a healthy Jacob deGrom is. And then Thursday looks like it's going to be Michael Lorenzen against Patrick Corbin. Suffice to say, I like the pitching matchups in at least 2 of the 4 games. Waka and Lorenzen, because Patrick Corbin is who he is. He's been one of the worst pitchers in baseball for a half decade now. I think Noah Cameron is good. Jacob deGrom is one of the best pitchers of this generation when he is healthy. And then the coin flip is going to be Tuesday between Seth Lugo and Merrill Kelly. If the Royals want to make up ground, your best opportunity is to win 3 or 4. If you split, there's a good chance you're still going to be 4 back after all of this, because that's just what it's been. Like, they've played good baseball. They're still 4 back. They need to play better baseball, and there's a chance they still might be 4 back. But if you split out of this, I think it's a solid way. But taking 3 or 4 is a bit of a statement, right? At that point, you're 66 and 62. You're 4 games over now. You're putting yourself in position, I think, before you head to Detroit, playing some winning baseball. The Tigers have been backsliding a little bit, so they're kind of in wounded animal mode a little bit, even 20 games over 500, because they're trying to build momentum for October. So this is a huge series for them, and they're going to go And I mean, they're playing 10 straight right now. You just got these 3, you got 4 and then 3. And you're playing 14 straight because you're going right to Chicago after that, play the White Sox. So this is a massive stretch for this team. And this is where they have to make up ground against the team that is, in a similar position to you. And we've seen the Royals kind of come out and they played well in some of these situations. And we've also seen them just lay eggs. We'll see what they get. I do think a 6-3 stretch coming off a sweep, even if it's against the White Sox, I do think that winning breeds confidence, right? It is an infectious thing. It's something that can snowball and continue to build. And we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. I'm excited. I think this is going to be one of the best chances. Outside chance the Royals can still win the division. If Detroit goes full on collapse, I mean, they would have to go, a collapse of like biblical proportions. The Royals are 11 back of them, I think. I want to make sure that I have, I'll get the standings here to look at. I mean, they're 9 back of Detroit. It would take an absolutely insane collapse in addition to Cleveland, kind of being a middling team a little bit. The Royals are a half game back from them. One thing I do think is interesting, the run differential is back to it's only -4 for Kansas City. So it's trending. If you get into a positive run differential and continue to play well, the offense continues to get better. You put yourself in a decent position here. They're still 4 back. There's only a half back of Cleveland in the wild card too. And really, they're not far. I mean, they're 4 back of the Yankees for that third wild card spot. And really not much further than that from, I think they're 5 games out of the top wild card spot. I mean, they're still in position here. This is it's not likely, but it's not, an untenable situation that we're just, chasing rainbows here, trying to believe and think that this might happen. It very well could. We'll see. But this weekend's going to tell us a lot. They split, go 3 or 4. Okay. They're going to put themselves in a position for a huge series against the Tigers and a chance to make up ground in the central end of the wild card. You lose 3 or 4. It really, you put yourself way behind the 8 ball with not a lot of time left. So it'll tell us a lot. We'll know quite a bit about this team heading into Friday, where they're at and what they're going to be able to accomplish moving forward. Tuesday is going to be a post-game recording, and then let me make sure that game on Thursday is a day game. I believe it's a getaway day. It should be at least. And if that's the case, we'll be live Thursday night on the show for that one. It is a day game on Thursday, so we got 1:10 first pitch. So Thursday night will be 8:30 as normal. And that'll be the end of the series. So, we'll see here. I'm rambling here at the end. This went way longer than I thought, but I do appreciate everyone hanging out. Toast game to sound off in the comments. Who should be the toast game? I'll give one to Noah Cameron for Friday. I'll give one to who should get it for? I'll give it to John Rave. John Rave for Saturday. And then I'll give one to Adam Frazier and Jonathan India for the homers on Sunday. We'll go there. So toast games all around. Toast game to everybody in the chat as well. I appreciate those that have been a part of this conversation as always. Chris, Curtis, Elizabeth that are always around. Really appreciate you guys for always, being a part of this, being a part of the conversation and helping drive this. We will talk. You guys will hear from me on Wednesday morning after the first 2 games of this series. We'll talk soon, everybody. Have a great one.